When Bernard asked me would I speak on behalf of our member Yaha, no hesitation whatsoever. Firstly, they say to us that Yaha can't show any evidence of threats he's received from Saudi Arabia. Yet the Home Office must know the regime in Saudi Arabia is a family dictatorship who have no respect for fundamental democratic human rights.
Yaha Al-Faifa is an extremely courageous and selfless trade union fighter for the working class.
And when we hear talk about human rights in the recent war, we don't hear much talk about what takes place in Saudi Arabia. So does the Home Office believe the threats against Yaha should have to be written in triplicate?
Came here from South Wales no longer to support Yaha in his appeal to stay in Britain.
BAE Systems made a decision back in 2002 to cut the pay of the Saudi Arabian workers within their workforce by 40%. Now, there were 3,000 Saudi Arabian workers involved in this pay cut, and Yaha decided that the only answer was to form a trade union. Of course, trade unions are illegal in Saudi Arabia, and although they won their battle, Yaha was sacked. You try to organise trade union in Saudi Arabia, 15 years in jail is just what you can expect as a normal response from the justice system, so-called. But of course, many people who go to jail in Saudi Arabia are tortured. Many people disappear altogether. And this is 500 people showing up at a meeting to form a trade union. BAE Systems were taking a huge chance with their lives.
The regime that uses arbitrary threats, torture and execution against its opponents. Does the Home Office feel too embarrassed to defend Yaha in fear of losing this very lucrative contract with the Saudi royal family?
It's because Yaha not only has a record of standing up for trade unionism in Saudi Arabia, but also has a record of standing up for trade unionism in South Wales and also internationally. There's comrades here who stood side by side with Yaha on the dock in Pembroke Dock in support of the Irish ferry workers a couple of years ago, and on that particular occasion, even though it was freezing cold, Yaha wanted to spend all night on that dock, which obviously is a measure of his solidarity. I'd also like to mention the role of Swansea Trades Council. Yaha, through the CW, was a delegate to Swansea Trades Council, and we took up Yaha's campaign, and actually a couple of years ago got Yaha's support through the Wales 2C as well, so that is supported throughout the trade union movement in Wales itself. This just marks another stage in Yaha's campaign, and we won't rest until Yaha is free and able to be at liberty, to be free of threat of dictatorship, imprisonment and the like. And if anyone knows anything about the Saudi Arabian regime, then they know that Yaha is under threat of that. Of course, the British government know all about the Saudi Arabian regime. That's why the investigation into British airspace and the British government's involvement in the Saudi regime was shelved and hidden from view. We won't be hiding Yaha's campaign from view. This is another stage, and we won't be finished until that is finished and Yaha is free and able to carry on his life without fear of imprisonment.
One thing that New Labour is good at is implementing Tory laws, implementing the privatisation of the postal service, whose workers are organised by Billy Hayes and his union, and implementing some of the most rotten, racist immigration and asylum laws that we've ever seen in any country in the world. The statement that Yaha has not been involved in campaigning for trade union rights for Saudi workers since his arrival in Britain can only be described as a lie. He has campaigned the length and breadth of South Wales and throughout the United Kingdom in support of his brothers and sisters in his country of origin.
I'd like to thank everybody who's come today. We're all here to give support to Yaha in his fight against deportation for him and his family. I think the fact that the government are even considering deporting him and the fact that they've taken so long to make any decision on his case shows that the people in power, when they talk about human rights, when they talk about putting people first, that it shows that they're complete hypocrites.
A really important thing that he stays, and I think it's disgusting that that he's meant to be going back and deported.
Well, I've come down because I've known Yaha for over 4 years now, and he's just such a fantastic comrade. He's such a brilliant trade unionist, and he's, I've worked with him, I've gone on demonstrations with him, been to meetings with him, protests. I think his case is, is absolutely just.
We do bring fraternal greetings from Liverpool, from the SAC Liverpool dog workers. And we're proud to be here taking part with this demonstration, supporting Yaha. Many cases of good comrades who came to our shores and brought many good things to this country in terms of helping out ordinary working class men and women. And I'm sure Yaha forms part of that movement.
On behalf of the Socialist Party, many of whom are here today, and many more have protested around the country about the outrageous threatened deportation of Yaha. And we will keep this campaign going that has already begun, particularly by our members in Wales, but also in England and in fact internationally. We're part of the Committee for Workers International, and today British embassies are being lobbied in Belgium, in Sweden, in Germany and in many other countries around the world. And every movement event that takes place in this country, Yaha is there fighting with the working class in Britain, and we will do the same to make sure that he gets the right to stay here.
What do we want? Defend Yaha! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Defend Yaha! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Defend Yaha! When do we want it? Now! Jackie Smith, hear us say! Yaha will stay! Jackie Smith, hear us say! Yaha will stay! Jackie Smith, hear us say! Yaha will stay! What do we want? Defend Yaha! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Defend Yaha! When do we want it? Now!